Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. Today my guest is a community builder, an artist. She's the founder of a movement/artist collective known as Parke Ave. She's been part of the Seattle music scene for quite some time now, and recently she's been living in LA, and every once in a while she comes back to C-Town. It's my pleasure to introduce Scarlet Parke.
Hello. Thank you. That was a beautiful intro.
Thank you so much. So tell me about this Amy Winehouse aesthetic you got going on.
Well, to be quite frank, and the Amy fans will get that reference. I've always been kind of compared to her, and it wasn't until recently that I was kind of like, you know what? I never wanted to be. I just always thought she was so great, right? And I didn't feel worthy of that comparison. And I am really just embracing it now because I want to give her name honor and her legacy and her. I'm going to be doing a Amy Winehouse series of songs where I write some new verses to her old songs and kind of bring back her music in the best way that I can. So yeah, and honestly, I just am also I assume you're talking about my fabulous hair.
It's amazing.
So, thank you, first of all.
How long did it take?
A couple weeks.
Oh man.
No, yeah, it's a full-time job, this wig. But yeah, I am just really excited to feel like I found my brand, my look, my image, my all of that. Yeah. And Amy had a lot to do with that for sure.
Do you feel like you connect with her in a spiritual level or something, or just musically?
Oh, for sure. I mean, she is the artist that I listened to the most growing up. I know every single word, every single breath to every single one of her songs. Like, she's one of the most phenomenal singers of all time, I think. Yeah,
I've been watching her documentaries, and she had a very tumultuous life.
Yeah. I think I relate to her on multiple levels. There's definitely addiction that runs in my family. So that's something that growing up, she would sing about, and I would be like, wow, that it's cool to know that somebody else is dealing with this, and it's not it wasn't necessarily me, but a lot of people in my family have struggled with addiction. So,
but don't you think the sound of music has changed so much over the past? She passed away 2011.
Yeah, but has it changed for the better?
Definitely not.
Okay.
Well, it depends on what type of music you're listening to.
I just think she's such a classic sound, and even in when she was around, her sound brought back a lot of classic feelings and jazz. I think jazz is forever, right? Jazz is the American classic of music, and I'm going to try to infuse that into modern day music as much as I can.
But how do you make sure that you're not just like a lookalike or a sound-alike and you're your own person versus people being like, oh,
well,
that's like Elvis Presley or Michael Jackson?
Yeah, I'm definitely not going for any kind of impersonator vibes. I have a voice that it kind of sounds similar to hers, and I think that's why I strayed away from taking on any resemblance of her for a long time, because I did really want to find myself as an artist. And so I've gone through these cycles, I've gone through this kind of up and down journey of trying different genres of music. I've done soul, I've done blues, I've done jazz. I recently did pop for like a year and a half, worked with some hip hop producers. And my soul is just called to jazz and how, and in a modern way of how I can bring those elements to today's music, so maybe bringing some jazz elements to some hip hop songs, a little Sade, a little Ella Fitzgerald is another big influence of mine. So it's not just Amy, but I do happen to resemble her in many ways, and I didn't have control over that. All I can do is kind of make the best of it and hopefully not offend any of her fans, because it is all in in respect. of her.
And you have a background in jazz, correct? You're like part of a jazz band when you first started on the scene.
Yes. Wow. I'm surprised you knew that. Yeah, I sang jazz in high school, and I was in a group called the Highlighters, and it was a vocal jazz group. So we had a 3-piece band behind us, and then everybody sang. Had 16 people had like microphones, and we all 4 sopranos, 4 second sopranos. It's just like crazy harmonies, and you had to be so in tune, and it was a cool experience. And then I did that in college as well with a group called Far West Jazz.
What'd you go to college for?
I went on a music scholarship.
Oh shit! For your voice?
Yeah.
That's wild.
It wasn't a full ride, but it was enough to get me to want to go to college, because I'm definitely not a traditional learner. I do not do well or function well in a traditional classroom. I'm very much, I want to learn on my own time through my own lessons. I'm a Google University through and through.
Hell yeah.
So, but yeah, it was Pierce College in Tacoma.
That's dope. I went to college for literally, like, I counted it. It was like 30 minutes, and I decided no.
Right. Okay, so you understand.
Yeah, so for jazz band, I did regular band and like march. God, I did marching band in high school.
What do you mean? Why are you laughing? That's dope.
Well, like, usually, like, being in band or marching band, you're like seen as like a nerd, but I feel like it's a little cooler to be in jazz. Or do people still think you're like weird being in a jazz band?
Haven't we all learned by now that the nerds are the ones who are the dopest people? Really, like, you
or they're the best at
and
revenge.
You're marching to your own beat. Like literally.
Yeah, I feel like nerds are more calculated.
Well, yeah. I mean, nerds just do what they love, and they do what they like, and they don't really care what people think. And like that's the team I want to be on for sure.
So you went from going to college and being in jazz, and then you continued that on to being part of like the Seattle music scene. You were still in like jazz
I took a
bands?
break. Actually, I actually quit music for a couple of years after.
Did you graduate college?
No. So the you'll pick up a recurring theme that there's always like something weird that happens. It's like, why did that happen? And it's just the universe, trying to push me in the direction where I'm to end up in going where I am now.
Yeah.
I was I did not have a great line of sight when I was younger. So no, I unfortunately didn't finish college because my director got fired for serving alcohol to minors, and so my scholarship got cut.
Were you one of those minors?
Maybe. I don't remember, honestly. No. He had a house party.
Oh my God.
With all of the.
That's wild.
With all of, because I mean, yeah. I don't usually talk about it because I have a lot of respect for him, and it was a singer that got cut from the group just out of spite.
See, the fucking nerds, they are calculated with what
right,
they're doing.
You are right. Yeah, and he, the kid who got cut filed a whole report and actually got the entire music program disbanded.
Holy shit.
So my scholarship got cut, and I was like, well, I'm not paying to go to classes when music's not there. So yeah.
So what were you going to do with that, like going to school for music? Or is that
I was just going because it was the only like musical outlet that I had and that I really knew and that I identified with and felt comfortable with. Like, I don't come from a family of, musicians or artists. Like, I didn't have a band, I wasn't playing shows, writing my own, I had written a couple songs, but I knew that I wanted to be a singer, but for some reason I just never performed my own music until after the whole college scandal, we'll call it. Scarlet Parke college scandal. Anyways, yeah.
No, I get
that. So then I took a couple of years. It was a huge blow. I was like, wow, I thought that, because we were planning to go to Europe. We were doing we had all these jazz festivals. It was one of the number one jazz groups in America. So
wow.
I was really upset after that, and I was like, I don't really understand what to do. And so I just became a barista and lived in Paulsbo, Washington for like a year and a half with a retired firefighter.
Awesome.
Rented a room and just kind of like tried to figure my life out,
Are you into seafood?
No.
I went to, fuck.
I actually don't really.
I lost my respect for you. But
I love looking at the ocean, but really anything being in it anything in it. I'm just not really.
The one time I went to Paulsbo, my friend's grandparents are like, I don't even know what it's called when you catch crabs for a living. Are you a crabber? Or I feel like if you add ER at the end, it makes it official. Maybe they're not a crabber, but like whatever.
A crabologist?
Well, that's like studying crabs.
Oh, okay.
So they're capturing crabs and eating them and selling
crabberman.
them. Okay, yeah. So they were at Crabberman. And so what happened
so
was
he's a crabberman.
my friend was like, hey, let's go drive to Paulsbo. And we're in Redmond. So that's like east of Seattle for people listening who are not from Seattle. So out of nowhere, we were like, okay, let's go to Paulsbo just for a day trip. And he's like, yeah, my grandparents live in Paulsbo, so we can go visit them. So we get there. It's
Everybody's grandparents live in Paulsbo.
Exactly. It's like one of those retirement communities, honestly.
Totally.
So it was like a 3 hour drive. It's in Washington, but it's kind of far. Mm-hmm. And we get there at like 7, and he's like, hey, Grandma, can we spend the night here? We ended up spending the night out of nowhere, but I just remember it because we got to catch crabs, and it was just like they lived like on the ocean.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It was not a bad place to sit and figure my life out. Like I'll actually tell you a little story. I haven't really told a lot of people about this because I don't even know why. It just seems too crazy. But it really happened. So
I like crazy stories.
Well, you come to the right gal. So I'm working at this coffee shop. And I have these regulars that come in. One of them is in the military, and his name is Evan. And then another one is a pastor at a local church, and his name is Michael. So they don't know each other, right? But one day they both come in and they're sitting at the coffee bar because there is like a little, they come in and chat with me, and we're hamming it up, And all of a sudden, Evan, the military guy, says, well, all right, so I need you guys to help me think of somebody that would want to help me drive my cars over to Virginia Beach because I just got restationed over there, and the military doesn't pay for shipping cars anymore, but they will give you a per diem to drive, and kind of an unlimited per diem. So he's like, I'm thinking about making kind of a little road trip out of it.
Ooh.
And I'm like, that sounds pretty cool. Like, when are you thinking about doing this? And he's like, oh, probably in the next like 2 weeks, but I want to go all the way down to San Diego and go to Vegas and da-da-da. And I was like, well, I just happen to not be doing anything with my life right now. So, and I know how to drive. So I would love to go with you. And he's like, didn't you say that you used to play music or that you liked playing music? And I'm like, yeah, I write some songs. And he's like, well, what if we like hit up a couple open mics on the way?
Ooh.
And then this guy, Michael, who's just this guy, right? The pastor, yeah. He's sitting there drinking his coffee, and he goes, well, and I should also mention that he's like tattooed head to toe. He's like, well, I used to be in a metal band. And I've actually toured all over the U.S. So I actually know venue owners in every city if you like wanted to actually play some shows. And I'm like, I don't know about all that. I don't really have a band or anything. Like, and I'm not like a rock star on the piano yet. So I don't know. And Evan goes, well, I used to play the bass, so like maybe I could learn your songs.
Holy shit.
And Michael goes, he's like, when are you guys thinking about doing this? And he's like, because I play the drums. And I'm like, no. No way this is happening right now. And I'm just like making my coffee. He's like, what the fuck, And so we actually start putting a tour together, and we map it all out. And Evan, he's like, I want you to feel comfortable, so you should invite a friend. Like obviously we're two strange dudes. Like you're a young girl, so invite a friend. And so I actually invited 2 friends. My best friend Lauren at the time, I literally called her that night, and I was like, what are you doing in 2 weeks? Can you take 2 weeks off to go on a nationwide tour with me?
It's crazy.
And then I called my friend Gibson.
It's an interesting name.
Yeah, well, he's a guitarist. He's an amazing artist, singer, songwriter. And I call him up and I'm like, so I'm putting a tour together. Do you want to be my opener? That way we can just book like a whole night, like at these little cafes or whatever. And we book an entire tour across America.
Damn.
and we play a show in San Francisco, LA, San Diego, Austin, Dallas, Nashville, and things kind of got a little rocky after that. So then we just drove straight to Virginia. We were supposed to play in New York, but of course there was some drama. And
did everyone have like their own car, or how did that work?
So the car situation was, he had all of his stuff shipped out, and then he had a Honda Element, which was stick, so I had to learn how to drive stick. And then he had a Corvette.
Oh.
So him and the pastor drove the Corvette, and me and my two friends drove the Honda Element.
That's funny as fuck.
So this is the craziest story. Literally have no idea who these guys are, but we like start having band practices, and they like learn my songs, and we get booked. And this.
But did you have songs out by this time or no?
No.
Wow.
And he somehow booked us with a guarantee in every city. $250 guarantee in every city, which was enough to like feed everybody, and like, you know, because I don't want to put this Evan guy out, and I'm working at a coffee shop, you know, no idea what I'm doing with my life. I have no money at all. I literally told them that too. I was like, hey, I have no money. I can't like, if something happens, I'm so sorry. Like, I am a liability. I have nothing to like. My parents were MIA at the time. Like, I was like,
how old were you?
19.
And they trusted you with a car across the fucking country.
Like I said, it's a crazy story.
That's awesome.
It was just one of those things. I'm just like, this is unbelievable. Like, this is a once in a lifetime. Because there was a couple, you know, obviously before we left, I'm like, am I really going to do this? Like, I don't know these people. I literally do not know these people. Like, stranger danger to the max, you know. And but it was one of the best experiences of my life. I mean,
that's wild.
You know, before we started recording, you and I were talking about, you know, having energetic pulls and you know, feeling like you have a purpose and a destiny. And there have been so many times in my life where I have tried to walk away from music because I just was like, it's too hard. I don't know what's the point, you know. Like, there's so many other things that matter and that I could be focusing on, like, for me to chase this like lofty dream when literally there's no straight path. Like, it doesn't make sense, you know. Like, in fact, it doesn't. There is no sense to it. Like, there's no money, there's no anything, you know. How am I supposed to do this? And these opportunities in these situations would pop up again and again and again.
Damn.
That would just be like, you need to be doing music. Literally, here's a stranger in a coffee shop offering you a nationwide fully paid road trip. We went to Vegas. He bought us a penthouse in the Mandalay Bay.
Shit.
He's like, thanks to the military. Obviously we won't be using full names because I don't want to be outing him, but yeah, I just one of the and still to this day, like, you know, him and I will contact.
Go to Vegas.
Well, no, I mean, we'll stay. We've stayed in touch, but he still lives in Virginia Beach, and I have stayed in touch with the pastor as well.
Damn.
I mean, after a trip like that, you're just kind of bonded forever.
That's crazy. I'd love to talk more about where you grew up, because I've been there a few times, and I spent a lot of time on Vashon Island, and like you take, that's the same ferry, like the Fauntleroy ferry terminal. Like, you go from, that's West Seattle. There's if you're not from Seattle, there's in Seattle there's lots of different islands they can take ferries to, and once you like grow up on island, you it's not fun to go on these ferries. It's like it's a bitch, but
see, I love it, and for the sole purpose of napping.
You nap on ferries?
Oh, shamelessly.
I hate ferries. I've been on them so many times. There's always like the captain being like, we're arriving, or beep, and then there's some sketchy people in the corners where there's like, because some ferries have like little booths where you can't see what they're doing.
Oh yeah, I come prepared with like a bag, put my head on the bag, got my sunglasses on, headphones in, fully covered, you know, like I'll bring like a long jacket and just like arms crossed, like, don't mess with me, I'm sleeping. Like, and I've never, fingers crossed, thanks God, I've never been messed with. Seattle's pretty chill though. It's pretty safe. I feel like the ferries are pretty safe normally. Yeah.
It's called leaving the island or going off island today. It's usually like a big thing, I feel like.
Oh, because you're from Mercer.
Yes, but that's I don't know if it's the only island in Washington or the U.S. or wherever that has like a bridge to get to it. But like, it used to be Mercer Island. It used to be you used to have to take a ferry to it, like in the 80s, I feel like. And then they built what was it? I think it's the Memorial Bridge, the floating bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And now most people feel like they haven't been to Mercer Island, but you have to drive through it to either get to Bellevue or Seattle. But
Right.
I had friends on Vashon Island, so I used to go to Vashon all the time, and then I have my Seattle skyline tattoo. I even went to Vashon to get that. So now that's my new tattoo guy. So if I'm a very spontaneous guy.
Okay.
So I don't want to just like.
So you want to go get a tattoo today?
There we go.
Let's go.
Let's meet up Casey Buxner. He's so dope. But I feel like the distance between me and Vashon Island, I can really think about if I really want that tattoo or not. Because you have to take a fucking ferry to get there.
So you're like, I'm spontaneous, but I give myself a buffer time to really make the decision. That's smart. That's smart. You can't live next door to your tattoo guy. That would be too easy.
Yeah. So, but did you like growing up on Port Orchard, right?
Port Orchard, yeah.
Is there can you drive there also? Or can you only take
it's just it's on a peninsula. So it's out by Gig Harbor, the Key Peninsula. It's cool. It's home, you know. My mom lived there up until a couple months ago. She's in Florida now, so I would still go back and visit. But
that's a big change, right?
Right. It was a necessary change for her. She's closer to her family and her Mexican roots. So I think she's really enjoying that. But I do still have some family there, so I'm actually going to take the ferry over to Bremerton and have some dinner with my Nana while I'm here. But to be honest, I don't go back for much. You know, I kind of left, and I left a lot of my childhood trauma and baggage and all of that. You know, I was a weird kid. I didn't feel like I fit in. I was definitely very you know, I mean, I was always singing, so everybody knew me as the singing girl, you know. But I didn't relate to a lot of like the small town antics and stuff. So I got to Seattle as soon as I could, and yeah.
I feel like there's not a lot of inspiration when you live on an island because it's just a closed space and everyone.
Well, it's a peninsula, so it's not an island,
right?
Yeah, but it's. I actually loved I really do miss like the long drives, like the dark streets, you know. Oh my God, that was my thing. I have a song called Never Going Home, and it's just about just driving aimlessly through these like windy roads covered in trees, you know, and you just happen upon these little pockets of beautiful views or like a beautiful field. Or there's this place in Gig Harbor, actually, I remember finding. It was just the most magical like little oasis. I don't even remember how I found it. Was with my best friend Samantha, and it was just like full of little daisies. Ooh. And just like a little pocket of sunshine like on the daisies, just like so quiet. And so I miss that the nature aspect of it. It's so beautiful. Port Orchard it's so beautiful, you know. And when I do go back to town, I always make sure to go to the Blue Goose Tavern. Ooh. That is where it all goes down. Or it did, and now I just go there I bring it down there. I'm like, these $3 drinks got me. I'm just kidding.
There we go. On the island thing though, just like islands in general, my biggest thing is how the fuck do like deers get to islands? Like, do they swim question. Or what?
Deers actually are really great swimmers.
Or is it deer? Is it plural of deer? So it's a deer and there's deer.
And deer.
But then, like, there's the ocean. The ocean is between, like let's just say, like the West Seattle, like Fauntleroy Terminal. Yeah, that's the ocean to get to.
Well, I'm sure that. Well, before I say I'm sure about anything, I would assume, and I'll definitely look this up after. Please, somebody, you know, please don't at me. But I'm assuming that natives would bring animals with them, right?
Like on their canoe.
Maybe. I don't know.
How the fuck do you keep do you have to like tranquilize the deer?
I mean, Audrey Hepburn had a pet deer. Like, if she can...
She had a pet deer?
She had a pet deer. She took it to the grocery store, so...
Oh my gosh. Speaking of grocery stores, yesterday, everything just... My mind's always going. So this is just one more thing that's just off topic. But
I love it. Let's do this.
So
go down the rabbit hole.
I was at the grocery store last night, and I've never heard this announcement on the loudspeaker. It was like... 101, it was like something like 101 trash panda alert, and I was like, holy shit, that's a raccoon. So they have like alerts for when there's like raccoons in the garbage at grocery stores.
Interesting.
I just thought that was the craziest thing.
Trash panda, man.
Because I feel like if you say raccoon, people are going to start freaking out.
Yeah. Would they?
Maybe, right? I would if I didn't know what I know what a trash panda is though. But if I didn't, I'd probably go check it out.
Doesn't everybody know what a trash panda is? Comment below.
There you go.
Do you know what a trash panda is?
There we go. So let's get back to the music.
Yes.
So
I'll go off topic with you all day, like for real.
So break down what Parke Avenue is, or Parke Ave is, for people who are not from the Seattle area.
Yes. So it's kind of a spinoff of my name, my Scarlet Parke, Parke with an E, but obviously Parke Ave is a very famous and ritzy street in New York. And I wanted to create a space where artists feel safe, empowered, feel like they're the stars that they are before they are. Like there's such an undefined road to success, and there's so few markers of accomplishments that we get. Like what are we all working towards? What, a Grammy? Well, what's before that? Like what are the pillars that we can hit to feel validated on our journey? And so I think that starts with community, and being acknowledged by your community around you. And when I first moved to Seattle, I found community at Mojams, which is weekly jam at the Nectar Lounge.
Hell yeah.
And I just loved meeting all the people there, right? And like Instagram was, it was a thing.
Wait, is that where you met Marshall Lobb?
It is, yeah.
Because I've always heard him talk about Mojam Mondays.
Yeah,
or whatever.
it had like a moment where, and I just speaking from when I was living here, when I was here, it was, that's where you went, and the talent was just insane, and I'm just like blown away, right? And so in my mind, I wanted to have a way to connect with everybody in one place, and also be able to, like, how do I, if I'm looking for another musician to play with, how do I find that, And so I started kind of playing around with the idea of creating an app. And so we created an app. It was basically not like it wasn't a standalone app. It was a third party. So I was just able to, program it the way that I wanted it to work. Because people are always like, wow, you're an app designer. I'm like, don't give me that much credit. Okay. It was plug and play for sure. But it brought the community together, and that was the point. My mom was a caterer, and I've been working in and around events for my entire life, basically. So the other aspect of Parke Ave is that we throw networking events.
There's one coming up, right?
There's one coming up, yeah. September 20th at the fabulous new super nightclub called Supernova.
Matthew Wolk's going to be part of it. He was talking about it on the podcast.
Oh, he was? Oh my gosh, yeah, he's great. He was one of the. I met him through an artist party, which I just love. That's what I love. I love connecting with people, and like online, it's just not the same. I mean, so many people are sliding into people's DMs, but like your energetic exchange with somebody in person is how you know if you're going to work well with somebody, especially in music. Right. So like, as much as you can create an online platform for people to connect, like all of that falls by the wayside. Like, can we vibe in person, right? And so that's why I wanted to have these spaces where you can just meet people in person and be like, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I do. We play all local artist music during the party. We also have performers, come up and play one song. We partner with local businesses to do giveaways that are applicable and useful for artists. So Matthew Wolk is doing a giveaway of he's actually giving away 5 single masters, individual giveaways.
Hell yeah.
Which is just, he's so great for that. But like when he first started his business, he came to a Parke Ave event, and it's just been great to watch his business grow and be able to say that we had any kind of part in helping him connect to the community. Because how do you really connect to an artistic community?
Especially for him, because he kept saying during the podcast, he was like referring to himself as like a service versus being a human being.
Right.
He's like, I'm a service who helps. So he's like, half these artists, I've been working with these amazing artists, and half of them have never even met me face to face, but they know I'm their master. So that is So that is
I am
cool
no
that
master. That's so funny. I know you said masterer, but yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. You need to add the extra er, just makes things sound more official.
Master.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's another thing that after starting Parke Ave, I kind of was like, there's not really a great way for these studios, engineers, photographers, blah blah blah, to connect directly to artists, right? You can't really search musicians on whatever. Like, you have to individually find them. You have to know somebody who knows somebody. The whole music industry is a know somebody who knows somebody type of industry, right?
Yeah.
So what better place to do that than to just have a event to go to? Meet me there. Let's talk about it. We'll also, I'll invite. It's just a good meeting place where there, there's going to be good music. There's going to be some, I'm also going to have some content stations, so people can have some cool stuff to post. And but there's also an educational aspect. So we usually have a speaker come in and talk about something that's relevant. We've had lawyers, we've had big managers come in and talk.
They're like music lawyers?
Yeah, entertainment lawyer.
I need one of those.
Right. So just things that to kind of pull the veil on all this, stuff that's usually done by a team, or it's usually just something that the artist hasn't really had a lot of access or needed to know up until now, where artists are entrepreneurs. So we need to be. Yeah, we need to be a little more involved, and we need to be a little more savvy to how to really function as a business and be taken seriously, because you can make good money as an artist, but you do need to know how to do that. So that's the short summary of Parke Ave.
There we go. That was 10 minutes long.
Yeah, right. We were working on the elevator pitch. But no, we actually did come up with our new tagline is feeding the artist.
Ooh.
Because artists are no longer starving. We feed them.
That means they're going to want to come and hope there's food, though. Is there food provided?
There might be some food provided. Yeah, I think I'm gonna hit up my good old friend Saul.
There we go.
From Dick's Burgers. We worked with them a couple times. Dick's is so great in being involved in the community as well. Saul's done really great job. Yeah.
That's awesome, though. Have you ever been to Leavenworth?
Maybe.
It's the German town in Washington.
I think I went there once, passing through with my family on a snow trip, and my mom went into a, I don't know, you pulled up a really deep memory. Hold on. My mom went into she loves hot sauce. She used to make salsa for a living. Like we used to say, like, Lanita's salsa, so good. My God. She went into a shop where it's all hot sauce.
Oh, I've been there. Yeah.
And she was like, nothing's ever too hot for me. Give me the hot sauce.
Put her on hot ones.
Yeah, oh my God, that'd be so funny. She tried the hottest hot sauce and like almost just had a panic attack, and it was so funny.
Oh.
And she was so mad and embarrassed, and I was like, that's what you get. In a funny, nice way, but like because she went in there, she's like, yeah, I'll take, they were like one drop. She's like, just, I'll take it. And don't, does a bunch of drops. It just was like, like dying.
So this gets a little deep.
Okay.
My first experience at Leavenworth, I was planning like a surprise birthday for my friend, and so we were going to Leavenworth, and first of all, I did not know how expensive ziplining is, but ziplining's expensive as fuck, and it's like a 20, depending where you're going, it could be range between like a 20 to an hour long experience, but like it's expensive. So anyways, I decided to drop this, like, I pay for my ticket, their ticket, and then one more ticket. So that's a couple $100. But little did I know that so when I first got into media, I was working at 92.5, the radio station. And yes, and little did I know, coming back from that station, I was going to be like, coming back from the trip, that was going to be like one of my last days I ended up being at the station. So I dropped this whole bag, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm almost broke. But I know I'm going to get paid because I'm about to be at the radio station. And then I have like, how much do I have? I have like, I spent so much money. So anyways, we go to this restaurant, and I'll never forget this. There was a meal called the Starving Artist. And it was literally like $5, and it was like all this food. And I was like, holy shit. And I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that meal, because when I get back, I was like, I had like my last shift at the station, and I was like, fuck,
You're like,
starving
well, I guess
artist
I'm a
texting me.
starving artist. Yeah, I guess that's me.
But do you guys still use the app at all, or for Parke Ave?
I kind of laid that to rest during COVID. I think it'll make a comeback. I'm deciding whether or not currently I just make a Discord channel or bring the app back. So I'm going to actually kind of talk to people about it at the party because I don't want to be the sole one making decisions, like what was most useful for people. And so I'm gonna talk about it with the community and see what they want.
So why'd it go on a hiatus though?
Well, because the majority of the interactions on the app was to post about the opportunities that were happening, and there just were no opportunities happening. And it was depressing. Like for me, as like I was super upset about the whole thing. Like it was we were doing great and providing so many great opportunities to artists. We had partnered with all these different hotels and venues, and we had so many things in the works. And when COVID hit, it just went from, a million miles an hour to zero. And I just kind of had to process that. So I did my best to send out encouraging updates and emails and stuff like that to let the community know that we were still there. Mm-hmm. But, the main thing that we do is bring people together. Right. And so we did some Instagram live showcases.
Yeah, Tiger Lily on one of them.
Yeah. Well, we did a Clubhouse. The Clubhouse was popping during COVID, and that was great. We actually got a couple publishing deals for some artists that way.
Oh shit!
So
from Seattle or outside of Seattle?
Yeah, from Seattle, and we actually connected with a lot of artists from. I actually just had this artist today hit me up. He lives in Atlanta, and he's like, I think I'm gonna fly out for the artist party. I want to meet you, and I want to get it, And I'm just like that it is truly crazy to me. And just so we're back. We're gonna make a big comeback. Mm-hmm. I don't do anything unless I'm gonna do it all the way. So this is gonna be the relaunch of Parke Ave, and I'll be starting to do events in LA. I've built up a nice community there as well. And start these hotel gigs up again, because the hotel gigs were our main source of opportunities for artists.
What do you mean by a hotel gig? Just a ballroom?
So I had partnered with the Fairmont and with the Four Seasons. Ooh. And we're in talks with the Hyatt and other locations of the Fairmont outside of Seattle. And I started a music series there, and with very pro artist kind of guidelines. The artist gets nice dinner, mm-hmm. drinks, gets valet parking, gets treated like treated like a guest, not like not like a trash panda, So but it was great, and it was amazing, and it was fully booked. And the most amazing part about it is that it was guaranteed income for people. We were paying people's rent, and mm-hmm. That was amazing, because as I don't know how the Seattle market is right now, but it was everything was just so expensive, and artists were like, I'm gonna have to leave the city, so I'm excited to get those back, because they were really high paying gigs, quality, reliable for people, which is that's a big part of being an artist, is finding reliable work, and mm-hmm. Something I'm very passionate about providing, because that's what I want. So, and so we're gonna slowly bring things back one by one. If and when we do bring the app back, I want it to be better than ever. So I just want to take my time and make sure it's done right.
Right. Was there ever a catalog of artists on the app, or was it more just a calendar, or how
so everybody so I still have all of that data, everything's just kind of on pause right now, but right. you create a profile, it's kind of a little bit like Reddit, where you can pick the topics that you're interested in and pick the groups that you want to be a part of. So there's classifieds, there's you can be in the producer group, you can be in the engineer group, you can whatever you want to be a part of. And then I would vet every single person on the app as well. So you have to have music published to Spotify. There are some requirements for you to be in there, just to.
Could you be a 12-year-old rapper?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, if you're putting music out, that's all we really asked. And And then we would have the people that were approved to play the hotel gigs, because obviously the hotel, certain hotels, they get to approve what artists that they want. So then it was just super easy. Once you're in that group, I just post the available dates and everybody says, I'll take this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. And it's done. So easy. So yeah, there'll definitely be, that'll all be coming back. It's a lot to kind of, it has to be carefully curated, we got to set everything back up with the hotels. Hotels still aren't really, they're not having music right now. So until we have enough opportunities.
That's weird. Fucking ferries are, not ferries, like cruises are having music back, but not hotels.
Big corporations, man, they move at a snail pace. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So tell me how you got these partnership deals, because I feel like a lot of artists or just entrepreneurs or creatives feel like they have to have a huge platform before they can even start looking into sponsorships or partnerships or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's really about relationships. It's really about creating trust between you and the company, and letting them know that you understand their company mission and that you will do your best to be a spokesperson for them. It's not just your online following, but it's every time you play a show. We're actually just announced that we want to partner more brands with artists. So we're I had a couple studios reach out, and some clothing companies, and it's especially for hyper local, right? Mm-hmm. So we're all about hyper local. When I went to the Fairmont, for instance, my pitch, I guess, to them was, your clients are from all over the world, but they're in Seattle. You want them to know what Seattle is like. You don't want to have some, no offense to this guy, but you don't want to have some 70-year-old piano player in there every day playing the same thing people have been listening to forever.
Hey, I love Bob. What are you talking about?
No, we love Bob too, and we hire Bob, but when Bob is needed. And there's also, I truly believe, and this is what I always say to the brands that I work with, I believe that a city is only as good as its local art scene, because art is what shows you the current state of the city. If your artists are suffering, your artists are the ones that provide life and fun and value and entertainment and to the people who live in the city. So if you're not taking care of your artists, you're not taking care of your city.
So does that mean Seattle's suffering?
Well, not when I'm done with it. No. Yeah, no. I mean, I really want to pump the money that's in this city into the art scene. And I also, there's a little bit of that kind of you got all this money. What are you going to do with it? What are you really spending it on? Is it providing value to anybody, really? Because you could be providing value to people that really, really, really need the support. So having those kind of candid talks. And of course, there are perks for people that want to get involved in funding Parke Ave and get involved with funding showcases and things like that. You can become an official sponsor. You can get a plaque, saying that you were a big sponsor to the local art scene. So I understand. It's also that thing of people just aren't really sure how to, again, bringing it back to, how do you contact that group of people? How do you support, how do you know which nonprofit or what thing, is going to a show really, are you really supporting an artist? No, artists aren't getting treated well. Artists aren't getting paid well. They're not you go to a show, the artist isn't seeing the majority of that. If you're buying their merch, maybe, but a lot of artists, maybe they don't even have merch yet. They need these private gigs. They need these corporate opportunities. So yeah.
Are you tapped into the up and coming scene from Seattle, or are you more know more about the artists that have been around for decade plus?
I try to stay as current as possible. So we currently I'm gonna be going through all of the submissions, because we put out a flyer saying, please, up and coming artists, any artists in Seattle, send us your music, because we're gonna pick 5 artists to perform at the artist party. And yeah, I mean, it's maybe one or two of the artists I knew. So it's all new artists that I've never heard of, which is super exciting. And that's kind of what Parke Ave is for. It's for the up and coming artists. It's for, it's for everybody. It's not, I don't play the click game. I don't play the favorites game. I don't believe in that. I believe in good music. I believe in people that put themselves out there.
Is that because you're from Port Orchard though, and you weren't originally in Seattle? Or
what do you mean?
Like, I feel like if you're maybe from Seattle and you're already part of like those music cliques, you stay click. Like artists from Everett.
I've just always been anti-click. That's why I was kind of a weirdo in high school too, because I'm like, I don't subscribe to this mentality. I just really don't. I subscribe to authenticity. People that are in it for the right reasons. And, that's been an interesting road in music, because music is so cliquey. It is. It's just, it's so about power, and I refused to do that. So I don't really care about how many followers you have or any of that. I want you to be a nice person, because mean people trigger me to be mean myself, and I don't want that. I want to do that. So, I want a community of really supportive people that genuinely understand that this is no longer a competition. Like, we all have the same opportunities to put our music out there, and we want to educate people on how to do that and how to find success individually, and not feel stifled by your peers or judged, or put down by your peers. Like, we're already getting enough criticism online. Like, the last thing we need is the people surrounding us, and that's also, I'm also anti yes men. I'm also very honest with people about their music, right? So criticism with actionable steps to better yourself and be more well versed, or whatever, in my opinion. All I can do is offer my opinion and refer them to maybe try talking to Matthew about your mastering. The quality isn't what it could be, or I'd love to do a singing class with you, because I think that I could really, just a few small tweaks could really take you to the next level. I'm not scared to say that stuff, which I think is important. And we actually, I want to bring this back, because we had an event, a critiqued open mic.
Ooh. And
it was so good. So basically, like, people go up, because I think it's really important. You need to get honest feedback. Like, how else are you going to grow? And we live in a day now where, like, God forbid you say something that isn't.
You're canceled.
Yeah, cancel me. That's fine. So we basically like had this bucket, and people would perform, and then people would write down their anonymous feedback, and I would read the feedback to the artist.
Oh man, that's awesome.
And it was so good. It was like, because there was the people were honest. It was totally anonymous. It's nothing, and nobody was mean. Nobody wants to be mean, but if you do need feedback, like, that is important. It's critical, because if you're surrounded by a bunch of people that aren't musicians and they're telling you that you're great, and then you're going out there and performing, you need your peers to be honest with you.
Do you see that in any communities? Like, I don't feel like that's really here in Seattle. Do you see that more in
No,
LA?
that was my mad scientist invention. So I want to do more of those, though, because it was cool. And the artists loved it too. They were like, okay, that it's just so invaluable, right? It's like, as a podcaster, I'm sure, like, your feedback from your listeners is crucial.
Kill yourself.
No.
That's really valuable. I'm just kidding. No one said that.
Cut that out. So yeah. I don't know. I have a weird view on a lot of things, and
it's weird.
I'm a lot for, I definitely for Seattle, like, I'm a lot. I'm very blunt. I'm very outspoken, and I like to shake things up, but in a positive way. Right. But I do want people. I want to break that little Seattle freeze. Like, what's up? How's it going? We can be friends.
What have you learned from, like, the LA scene that you can bring back here to Seattle?
Let me think about that. What have I learned from the LA scene? I've learned that you should just be unapologetically you, and you should just do the crazy thing. Like, do the
Amy Winehouse.
Yeah, do the crazy thing. Exactly. Like, you'll be happier. You start checking off the things on your fear list, and then the less things you have on your fear list, like the more unstoppable you are, because fear is what holds so many people back. And I really love the fearlessness in Los Angeles, because there's and I've said this so many times, the talent in Seattle is unmatched. It is insane. You go to an open mic here and you're like, your mind is blown, right? It's crazy. I don't know what's in the water, what's in the air, like, but people are just so talented here. But and honestly, this is why I love Supernova so much, because he has really, Zach Levine, big props to him. He has just really, his dream and vision and imagination in creating that place has, I think, really provided a space for just people to be super weird and super over the top, and the drag scene's taking off, and people need these things. People need in front of them examples of extreme creativity, extreme, like, extreme, what's the word I'm trying to think of?
Sports?
Extreme sports, flamboyance, extreme flamboyance, because it feels so good to do that. When you can finally reach the moment where you can walk around in a 3-foot wig and feel great and just be like, I love that everybody's like looks at me and is like, oh, that's so it's hilarious. Like, I'm personally having a great time.
But you don't sleep in that, do you?
All the time. No, I don't. No, she's my little.
Oh no, she's named it. It's too late. She's attached.
I haven't named her yet. What should I name her? Comment below. No,
I'm kidding. Name it Amy, right?
No, I could never. I think that would be blasphemous, to be honest. I could never. Like I said, I hope that I represent her with the utmost respect. But
so anyways,
it feels good to be super extra. It just does. Like, what else? I mean, like I said, we're like outside of being political in any way, like, there are very few things about your freedom that you can be completely in control of, and about your life that you can be completely in control of, and you can be completely in control of how you express yourself.
Scarlett said she wanted to talk about politics this entire podcast, but I said I was not down for that. Jokes. So you talk about like these events and open mics, but we're still in a pandemic, and even at the heat when people had to stay home, like, what is some advice for those artists that maybe still aren't even comfortable going to open mics? Like, what can they do to continue to build up their connections and their catalog? And
I would say build up your confidence. Build up your confidence, build up your image, build up your brand, build up for when, and basically build up your preparedness and energy for the shows that you're going to have, instead of grieving time lost or grieving the lack of opportunities, anything like that. Perform these shows in your living room. Record yourself performing these shows. How do you want to look? Do you want to dance? Do you want to move around? Like, really, really put in that time, so that when the shows do come back, like, you're a whole new artist. You feel so comfortable with yourself. You've done all the crazy movements. You've been super loud. You've tried on a bunch of different wigs and outfits and hair, and figure yourself out. Like, when have we ever had time off where the pressure of like sending booking emails and all that stuff isn't there? I mean, honestly, it's a blessing to have just a little extra time to be like, am I representing myself the way I want to be represented?
Right.
Or am I so busy trying to be seen before I'm ready that I haven't even figured that out yet, and now I'm floundering in front of people? Like, I'm speaking for myself. Like, I definitely like, I'm very grateful for the time that I had during COVID to really ask myself what I, who am I? Am I representing myself to the world the way that I want to be seen? Am I being intentional about the things that I'm doing? Am I am I ready to have, like, am I ready to have all these eyes on me and be like, prepare yourself for that, because when you do prepare yourself for that, the opportunities will find you, because people see that confidence in you and they see that, like, this person is ready to be seen. Like, what does she have? What is she showing? I can't tell you how many times I've had people come up to me in LA, of all places, where there's so many people, doing their thing, and people will say, just your energy, I love your energy, I want to work with you. So I would just say, get your energy right. If it's not, if it is, put that energy towards music and just be releasing. TikTok's great.
Have you used TikTok?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. TikTok. I just started using this new one called Bars.
Bars.
It's kind of just like you go on there and like freestyle over a bunch of beats.
You freestyle? We have a freestyle section on the podcast. Are you about to freestyle?
I'll freestyle.
Oh shit! I think we have to do that. We're gonna do that after.
Okay, let's go.
That's
I'm
awesome.
ready.
So then, who are you? Like, what have you learned about yourself during this?
Thank you for asking.
Tumulus.
I thought you'd never ask.
I've been trying to use this new word. It's not a new word, but is it tumulus? Tumulus? Like when it's like
Tumulus?
Yeah, tumulus. This has been a tumulus time period, right?
Tumultuous.
No, is it? Is it tumultuous? Tumulus is a word.
Let me look this up.
It's like rocky. It's been like a rocky time. Tumulus. Maybe it's not the right. I've been trying to bring it up every once in a while, and people just.
Tumulus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tumulus is a mound of earth and stone raised over a grave or graves.
That's why people are just looking at me.
Tumultuous.
Tumultuous
is disorderly commotion or mental or emotional agitation or very loud. So tumulus is a.
So that's why people are like, huh. Okay.
I'm so sorry, but I won the spelling bee all the way up until. No, I'm just kidding. That's so funny.
Well, that's why you gotta test things out.
Yeah, you gotta give him a chance. And
so
tumultuous, yeah, tumultuous.
How's your time?
Tumultuous, tumultuous, yeah.
And that's the NAST pod. Okay. So yeah, how have you? What have you? There we go.
Who are you? Well, I am not tumulus at all. I am not a mound of earth over a grave. I'm actually quite alive. I'm dead.
Well,
how many times have you used that?
It's quite
have
a
you
few.
Been using it a lot?
Yeah. It's okay. At least it sounds smart.
It does. No, I mean, I had to look it up. I was convinced. I was like, wow, am I wrong? Really? Because I love the word tumultuous. It is a great word, and you should absolutely use that. I am Scarlet Parke, and no. Okay, so in all seriousness, I dove so deep into my own psyche and my own past and trauma and like why I am the way I am, because I definitely have been problematic in my life, like I think that the way that I dealt with a lot of my own inner suffering and pain and mental health, I wasn't super graceful in my life, and I was one of those people that was always cleaning up a mess that I had made, right? And being very reactionary, not being intentional, not being proactive, because if it there's a whole thing. My parents split up when I was 16, and it just rocked my world.
Sounds like Amy Winehouse.
I basically had no guidance. I had no like good female mentors that I really looked up to. And I have, I have other family members and stuff, but a woman that I felt like I could relate to, I didn't have that. And so I just resented the world. I just was like, why do things have to be hard like this? Why me kind of thing. And it's not a new story. It's not a new narrative, but I definitely had some hard lessons to learn, and I needed to figure out that healing would come through healing would come through addressing those things and not just playing the victim and not saying it's not me, it's everybody else, it's, you know, and just drinking all the time. I mean, I really I chose every bad crutch instead of just, you know, owning up to the fact that, yeah, life sucks sometimes, and like you need to figure out better ways to deal with it. You know, you can't take your anger out on the world. You can't, you know, take it out on your music. That's great, but you also can't be drunk at all your shows. Like you can't, you know, there was just I was sick of that being who I was, because when COVID hit, I was like, you have a lot of time to reflect, and my reflections were, you've been kind of messy, and like I know deep down that like I'm a very loving, giving, chill. I mean, yeah, I'm a chill person, and I just like I just was so agitated all the time that I just wasn't acting like myself for a long time, you know. And so I got so much healing, so much rest during COVID, and found peace with a lot of things that I needed to find peace with. I did this like 6-week course on worthiness, manifestation, inner child healing, regression hypnosis, and
you did actual like hypnosis?
Yeah.
Can you explain that real quick?
Yeah. So it's part of this course that I did through Manifestation Babe. She's incredible. Look her up. And basically it's just this hypnosis that takes you back to the very first time you ever felt unwanted, or you ever felt betrayed. Basically the first time your heart ever got broken, like as a kid. You know, you're like loss of innocence kind of thing. And mine was about how like a lot. Okay, so like the root of a lot of my problems in life is that I never felt like I could trust people. I always felt like people were going to fuck me over, so I would fuck them over first. And specifically women. Don't like women. Love women now. But my whole life I'm like, I don't trust you. I do not trust you. Like in my core, I do not trust you. There were a few girls that, you know, I've had my best friends, and like those are my ride or dies, but you know, like for the majority, it was really hard. And I think that there's a lot of girls and women that deal with this. And hopefully this resonates with them. But I basically got taken back to this time where I was 4 years old, and this was a memory I had never had before, even though it was something that I knew had happened. So I have this scar on my face right here, so I know it's real. I was 4 years old, and I went up to my mom and was like, "Hi, Mom, do you want to play?" And she's like, "No." And so I'm like, "Okay, whatever." And she's like, "Go play with the girls across the street." Those were the only neighbors we had. We lived in Nevada. It was like nothing. And so I go across the street, and there's these 3 sisters that live there. They're a little bit older than me. And I'm like, "Hi, guys, do you want to play with me?" And they're like, "No, but you can go play with our dog."
Oh, fuck.
And I'm like, "Okay." And I go over to play with the dog, and the dog bites me in the face. And they knew that their dog was really aggressive. And so I just, like, the betrayal, like I even just like get like little shivers thinking about it. Like seeing that memory, like from my perspective as a 4-year-old in this hypnosis, like it was almost like I saw like a film strip of like every bad interaction I've ever had it with a girl in my entire life was because I was coming from this place, was like, you're gonna you're gonna set up a trap and you're gonna fuck me over, so I'm gonna fuck you over first. And that was how I lived my life, because I was so traumatized by that experience. I mean, it was traumatizing. Like literally, half my cheek was hanging off. Like this dog bit me, and then they had to put the dog down, and then those girls hated me even more. And so I just like I was surrounded by all this toxic, you know, and so that changed my life. Like realizing that I was bringing off top this energy and this expectation, and knowing that the things that you manifest your life, right? That it is 100% true, 1,000% true. I've actually met the most amazing women and have like such an incredible group of women friends now in California. And it's changed how I interact with people, because I realized that I was completely, like I said, I was living in a reactionary survival mode. Like, it was instinctual how I was expecting people to fuck me over and to lead me to a dog that's going to bite me.
Damn.
Right? Isn't that crazy?
So what do? You just accept that and then move on? Or like,
no, I just know, I just know that's not how people are. These girls, they were children, right? I mean, for whatever reason they did it, they, you know, maybe, who knows? It wasn't my fault. It wasn't because of me. It wasn't, you know, it probably wasn't intentional. I don't know. I made total peace with it. Total.
It sounds like you're crushing it.
I made total peace with it. I mean, I don't approach situations thinking that people are going, you know, in it to screw me over. You know,
you think people are good now, or like, what
yeah.
do you think?
And I also know that anytime that I bring good, positive, supportive, loving energy, I'm not affected by the bad energy. If I get bad energy back, I just stop talking to that person, and I can distance myself and not take it personal. I used to take everything very personal. If you treated me any type of way, like, I would stew on it, right? And it would really get me.
Damn.
I don't take it personal anymore because I know that all you have control over is what you put into something. It's all like energetically, right? So if I give somebody good energy and I know 100% like I care for this person, I want, you know, I'm going to give them good vibes, and if they can't, if they're in a place like I was, because there were people that would give me loving good energy and I would still push them away, and those people would never stay in my life, you know, because they saw that I was in a place that I couldn't receive love. I couldn't receive genuine love because I always thought there was a trick. There always thought there was something behind it, right?
So now you think more about other people's feelings, or like, what do you do
Yeah.
now? Okay, so you're more.
I'm just more empathetic. I'm not so like living in survival mode, you know, like living in this constant fear. I don't live in fear anymore at all.
So
like,
did you just talk to people? You just talk things through with people, or like,
no,
what
I talk things through with myself.
Oh, so you didn't even need.
I didn't need to talk to anybody. It was literally during that hypnosis. It was like, okay, now come back to this time where you're an adult and like look at yourself. I mean, you really like, it's old you versus young you, and just you know, let young you know that not everybody is like that. That was a one-time thing that happened to you, and it is sad and it is bad, but that's not what everybody's intention is. That's not what, you don't need to move through your life thinking that a dog is going to bite you every time that somebody's, you know, every time that you meet somebody new. And so it's been a slow heal. I mean, obviously it's not just like gone forever, but like once you're aware of something like that, you're able to, like, as soon as I get that feeling where I start to get anxious and be like, I don't know if I trust this person, or maybe and instead of taking it all the way to the point of me being like, well, how can I sabotage this then? I just stop it right there. And I say, you have no reason to think that. You talk yourself down. You talk your inner child down. It's okay. I'm an adult. I understand how, like, what are the facts here? Has this person, do you actually have a reason not to trust this person? Have they done anything to you to make you feel that way, believe that? And most of the time the answer is no. And if you do look a little deeper and you're like, oh, this actually has been kind of weird, then you just respectfully say, hey, you know, I maybe we put this on pause, or you know, and you end it in a graceful way. It doesn't need to be this explosion. It doesn't need to be this like drama, toxic thing.
Yeah, I've just learned that you have to always be like aware, versus you can't just like walk through life, which
you have
is
to be intentional.
Easy. It's just kind of annoying that like you genuinely have to be like aware of everything. Mm-hmm. It kind of can be like tiring. It's
made me more of an introvert. For sure.
Yeah.
Because I you know, there are very few people that, because there are times, right, when you don't want to just always be super intentional. Like Mira, I can just be my total self with. Like, I don't have to sit and calculate everything I'm going to say. Because,
and Mira's her manager. Shout out Mira.
And, you know, I just know that there's a mutual love there. You know, like whether she's in a bad mood or I'm in a bad mood, or you know, or whatever, I say something, she's not going to take it the wrong way. Like I don't have to be on the defense. So now I try to just work with people, surround myself with people that I don't have to be on the defense with. Right. Mm.
So have relationships like grown during the pandemic? Like I'm guessing you and your manager got closer during the pandemic?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mira and I definitely, Woo! Yeah. I mean, and she's been here through the whole thing. I mean, she's seen a transformation. It's been a crazy transformation, but so necessary, you know, like, because I feel like my true self has been finally allowed to step out and not be so worried that I'm going to be hurt again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was just living in constant fear, and I think so many people do, and that's why, you know, you have anger problems. That's why you drink a lot. I also don't drink. I have no desire to like be wasted all the time. I was always drunk. I was like,
can't be good for your liver.
Can't be good. I mean, I come from a family of alcoholics too, so I was like, you know, that was always in the back of my head. So, yeah, as hard as it is, I mean, it was a hard process. It was like, you know, lots of tears, lots of this, lots of, you know, and then there's also like, man, like, I spent so much time treating people that didn't deserve to be treated like crap, and I just treated them like crap because I was just walking through life blind, like unintentional, you know. And so that's a hard pill to swallow, but it's also like, I'm still young, you know, like I'm gonna skirt and turn this thing around and like,
hell yeah,
you know, and do it for my family too, because my mom and I, you know, once I started to kind of dive into this stuff, she's started to dive into this stuff, and she's had some amazing, you know, breakthroughs, and we've had some amazing conversations, and it's just been great for everybody.
So why did you move to California?
I was ready. I was ready to expand. And I felt, yeah, I was just ready. I've always wanted to live in LA. It's always been a dream of mine to live in Hollywood specifically. So now I live in Hollywood, and I absolutely love it. It's one of those things where I feel like the world almost talked me out of it. Like, oh, you're gonna go move to Hollywood in LA? Like that's so overdone or whatever. It's so cliche. And I was like, you know what? Fuck that. I want to do it. I've always wanted to do it. And maybe it does suck, and that's for me to find out.
Does it suck?
No, I love it. I absolutely love it. So, you know, so I went through this whole thing. I started this brand Dreamgirl because I was like, holy crap. I have almost quit music so many times because I almost let myself talk myself out of it. I let other people talk me out of it. You know, why are you going to move to LA? It's so da-da-da-da-da. And everybody has something to say about what you do with your life, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody has something to say. And so many people just choose to appease the people around them. And all right, well, so and so done, so and so this, and my aunt's cousin just had a baby, so maybe I need to stay here. And it's like, no, you know what? You are the most helpful. You are the most wanted, and you're able to provide such a better experience for the people around you when you are doing something that feeds you, something that you want to be doing. Like, if you're waking up every day and you're just like pissed, people wake up pissed. and they, you know, they don't have to. And I understand there are complicated situations. I know I come from a complicated family, but you will always be rewarded for following what your heart wants you to do, where you're drawn to for whatever reason. You don't ever want something for no reason. You're never repelled from something for no reason. Like, these things are real. Energy is real. Intuition is real. You know, and we're falling farther and farther and farther away from that. People are just, you know, dying, looking at their phones every day and completely unaware of what they're actually feeling, wanting, needing, craving. And so I really hope that people can take some time to ask themselves what they really want, and start small. Like, what's your favorite brand of toothpaste? What's your favorite, you know, why is it your favorite brand of toothpaste? What's your favorite brand of toilet paper? Do you know? Like, how well do you know yourself?
Right.
Or how autonomous are you being? You know, are you just being a blind consumer?
But you still come back to Seattle. Why is that?
It's for work, but it's also for growth, for healing. I mean, this is my home, you know. I always get a little anxiety coming back because, like I said, you know, I wasn't an angel when I lived here. I was struggling in a lot of ways. And so now that I'm at a place where I can just be super honest with that, that's a hard thing to be honest about. Like, hey, sorry, I was kind of a dick. But like, I think it's so important to be honest about that, because how can you grow out of being a dick if you can't, you know what I mean? Like if somebody isn't being, you know, showcasing just humility, you know, shame, humility, it is a good thing in this life. And so that's why I'm back. I'm back to
be on the NAST podcast.
To be on the NAST podcast, spill my heart out as I do, you know, no secrets. So
yeah. do you do music full time, or like do you do other
full time?
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm a full time songwriter, singer, vocal coach, producer. Oh. Yeah, so I have been working with some record labels down there. I've had 2 songs picked up for other artists.
Oh shit.
By like a major record label. So things are happening. And you know what? It all fell together when I finally was like, I am going to chase the crazy thing that I've always wanted to chase, and I'm going to fully not shamelessly, but like I'm going to just give that up. I'm going to prepare myself for it, prepare myself for success. I'm going to learn what, you know, like what I want my sound to be like, what I want to look like, And I mean, things will start to happen when you do that, when you can identify what it is that you want down to a T, down to what you want to look like, you know, sound like, you know, what do you stand for, you know? And so I've been very blessed.
Hell yeah. Wait, so when did you start being able to do like music stuff full time?
I've been doing music full time since 2017.
And what was the change? Like, how did you know that you're starting to do it full time? Was it?
Well, yeah, I mean, I just was getting booked, you know, I was with Parke Ave, you know, so I would book myself at hotels as well. So I was kind of, you know, just
doing the thing.
I just created the opportunities. Yeah, I just made it happen. I was, you know, like it's, you know, of course I do side jobs. Like I was a bartender for a while. So if I ever like I'm in desperate need of money, I can always go pick up a bartending shift. And there's always going to be that option, which is good. You know, have a backup plan. Definitely. I think that's why so many artists are bartenders. It's great, quick, easy money. It's also, you're still networking at the same time. But yeah, now I'm pretty much just living solely off of vocals, music, all of that stuff.
Damn. That's super exciting then.
Thank you.
Is it important to be like a model figure in Seattle, or like do you have bigger dreams? And I don't know if it's like bigger dreams, but like is it important for people to know who you are in Seattle?
I think that it's important for people to know I'm from Seattle. You know, I can't dictate whether, well, I do hope that people can see me as a great thing that came out of Seattle for sure. And I would love to continue being seen as a community leader, community builder. Yeah.
But do you think artists can make it in Seattle? Because that's like a huge like debate.
Yeah, I think it's 100%. I think that people can, you know, Travis Thompson is doing great things. Sam LaChow's done great things. I think that with any business, you at some point you do have to expand to new markets. But I don't think that it's impossible to be a thriving artist in Seattle and from Seattle. And I was just talking to Marshall about this actually. I'm like, and it also is up to us to lead that charge in making people care about, you know, and throwing events that are worthy of talking about, you know. I mean, why is LA so popular? Because people are consistently throwing these insane radical events that are like, oh my God, did you see that? Like, give them something to talk about for sure, you know. And Marshall did that with the Fremont Fridays. Those were badass. And now everybody's like, what's the next thing, you know? And Zach's doing it with Supernova. Like, build it and they will come kind of mentality, you know. But don't sit and wait for the opportunity to come to you. Don't sit and wait for somebody to be like, all right, we're going to put Seattle on the map. No, go do it. Go rent a red carpet, throw a badass event, and let people know who the fuck you are. Yeah.
Do you want to touch on Dreamgirl a little bit more? Like, can people, is there like, is that a brand that people can buy? Like, is there merch behind it? Or?
Yeah. So Dreamgirl, obviously, it came out of my journey of figuring out how I could be my own dream girl, how I could fulfill my own needs, how I could fulfill my own validation was the biggest part of it. Like how, especially as a woman, like how can you figure out how to validate yourself, right? I mean, it's so true. I mean, obviously, I know I don't think you've ever been a woman, but it's
you don't know.
Grueling, like the constant criticism, the judgment, the body shaming, just everything, like the pressure to have sex, just everything. It's so much, and everybody has something to say again about your body and about who, you're too sexy, you're not sexy enough, you're too skinny, you're too fat, you're too this. It's like, shut the fuck up. I need to figure out what my validation is. What do I want to be? Maybe I don't want to be super skinny. Maybe I don't want to be, like athletic. Maybe I don't want to be maybe I don't want to be, and I don't have to be. And that is my prerogative. And maybe I don't want to be a housewife. Maybe I don't want to, maybe I don't want to drive. It's really like you can do whatever you want. And I recognized it came from the song. I wrote this song Dreamgirl for my ex, and I tried to, and it was written as a love song. And then I listened to it after we broke up, and the chorus is, "Did you really mean it when you said I was your dream girl?" And I was like, that sucks.
This came out, when did this come? This came out 2021, right?
I think, no, 2020.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, 2020. I think so. I don't know. Everything's a blur. But I was like, you know what? I thought that was a love song. And now that I'm listening to it, I hate that I'm asking somebody, am I your dream girl? Am I everything you ever wanted? Like, that's awful. And for me to think that was a romantic thing to say shows how desperate I was and how devout I was of like having my own inner confidence. Like, I'll be whatever you want, just love me. I'll be whatever you want, just love me. And I think so many women are trained to think like that. Like, just if you do this, a man will come and sweep you off your feet and take you away and love you forever, and you'll never, you never have to worry about anything, and you'll be his little princess. It's like, that doesn't happen. One, the men in our society are not raised to be like that, so we're waiting for nothing. Okay, we're waiting for a horse that's never going to come. And two, that's never going to be a fulfilling life for you as a human being, right? You have a brain just like everybody. I mean, I know that these are not. It's not. Obviously, I'm being extreme about this, but I really, really realized how conditioned women in the culture and how conditioned I was to change. I mean, how many times has your girlfriend or your friend who's a girl gotten a boyfriend and completely fallen off the map? She's no longer doing the things she likes to do. She's no longer hanging out with her friends. She's no longer doing this. I mean, women are literally living so ingrained in their heads to live to please a man, that like, and to have a man who wants them, not even to please them, but to be wanted. And it's like, there is a such thing as self-validation and true confidence. And, that's what Dreamgirl's about. It's about wanting that to be the thing that you chase, wanting that to be your dream, your goal, because a man loves a confident woman also. This isn't an anti-men. This isn't an anti-male, super feminist thing. It's just about reminding women that your value is yours to create. It's not going to be, nobody else can give you value except yourself. So it's become a brand. It's become a wonderful way for me to connect with women, which I've always desperately wanted, but didn't know how, like we talked about. So it's been this super complex unraveling of this like yarn ball of inside of my head. And
that's awesome though.
And I've just met some amazing women, and we're gonna have Dream Boy come out as well. We definitely will have some Dream Boy chains. Or just Dreamer, if that's something.
I'm excited to announce my brand, Dream Them, actually.
Them.
That's coming soon.
Okay, I love that. Okay, we'll have to talk. We'll do some co-branding. But yeah, it'll now be just my forever brand of helping girls that were in my situation, of just not knowing who they were, not having mentorship, not knowing how to find confidence, not even believing that confidence is real. I mean, it was a myth to me for a very long time. I'm like, oh yeah, confidence. Like, the fuck is that? That's just another construct of society. It's like, no, it does exist, So, but confident people are less easy to manipulate.
There we go. Well, I'm happy you've learned all this stuff.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was a lot of stuff. Are your ears tired?
No. I think you're a good speaker, and I enjoyed what you had to say.
Thank you.
Do you have any final advice for any up-and-coming artists, creators, influencers?
Just believe in yourself. Trust yourself. Trust your creativity. Your inspiration will never lead you astray. Follow your passions. Don't let anybody talk you out of them. The craziest ideas that nobody understands are probably the best ones. And just run with it.
Hell yeah. What is the easiest way for people to reach you?
My phone number is, no, I'm just kidding. You can reach me at scarlet.parke, Parke.
Spell Scarlet too, because that's actually
yeah, Scarlet, SCARLET.PARKE. So Scarlet 1T, Parke with an E, scarletparke.com, parkeave.com, dreamgirlbyscarlet.com. And I think that's it.
This is the NAST podcast with
Scarlet Parke.
Can we get a meow?
Meow.
And we did it.